Have you ever noticed that the more you chase someone, the more they seem to slip away? It's like quicksand. The harder you try, the deeper you sink. You give more, care harder, but somehow they drift further, leaving you trapped in a painful cycle of giving too much and getting too little. But here's a harsh truth. Sometimes, the only way to capture someone's attention is to take yours away. It's about realizing that chasing doesn't build connection, it does the opposite. People value what they have to work for, not what is freely handed to them. They've gotten too comfortable, haven't they? Too certain that you'll always be there, giving your time, energy, and care on demand. They expect your love and attention to flow endlessly, taking your kindness for granted as if it were always available. But what happens when you shut that off? What happens when you stop giving them what they've come to expect, without warning or explanation? That's when the shift occurs. Suddenly, they're left in a void they didn't expect, and trust me, they'll feel it. This isn't about manipulation. It's about creating emotional distance, not to punish, but to reclaim your power. Emotional distance doesn't mean you stop caring or become cold. It means you stop overinvesting and rediscover your worth. Because let's face it, they've started to treat you like background noise, assuming you'll always be there, always ready to catch them when they fall. You've become their safety net. And like any net, they don't appreciate it until it's gone. Well, not anymore. Today you're going to step back, create space, and let your silence speak louder than any words could. Sometimes, the absence of your presence is more powerful than anything you could say or do. Think about it. How many times have you argued, explained, or begged for someone to see your worth, only to be met with indifference? The truth is, people only wake up when they lose what they've been taking for granted. When you step away, emotionally, mentally, and physically, it forces them to confront what they're losing. We live in a world addicted to instant gratification, where attention is handed out so easily that it loses meaning. But here's the thing, your attention is valuable. Your energy, kindness, and time are not unlimited resources. The more you give without receiving, the more depleted you become, and the more they believe your love is something they'll never have to work for. That's why emotional distance is a game changer. When you remove yourself from the equation, the whole dynamic shifts. You stop being the one chasing, and suddenly, they're the ones wondering what happened. Silence creates space. In that space, they begin to realize just how much their world revolved around your presence. At first, they might feel relieved that you're not texting or checking in as much. They may even tell themselves the space feels good. But that feeling won't last. The human mind doesn't handle emptiness well. Soon, the silence you leave behind will become a mirror they can't avoid. It will reflect all the things they took for granted, all the moments they didn't appreciate, and all the times they assumed you'd always be there. And that's when curiosity kicks in. Curiosity is a powerful thing. They'll start to wonder, what happened? Did you move on? Are you happier without them? Their mind will spiral, creating stories to fill in the gaps. They'll check their phone, hoping for a text that never comes. They'll scroll through social media, looking for clues about what you're doing. The silence will gnaw at them, making them realize that the connection they thought they controlled is slipping away. Pulling back doesn't mean you're running away. It means you're realigning your energy. You're recognizing that you are the prize, not the pursuer. You're not here to beg for someone's time, love, or attention. If they want you, they'll have to come to you. Creating emotional distance isn't easy. It requires strength and discipline. You'll feel the urge to reach out, to check on them, to make sure they haven't forgotten you. But every time you resist that urge, you reclaim a little more of your power. And that power is magnetic. When you stop chasing, you become the mystery they can't figure out, the energy they can't replace. They will notice. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but eventually, they'll feel the weight of your absence. And when they do, it won't just be a passing thought. It'll hit them deeply. Emotional distance doesn't just make them miss you, it makes them realize how much they need you. In this video, we'll break down exactly how to create that emotional distance. How to step back in a way that makes them feel your absence without you saying a word. We'll explore the psychology behind detachment, the power of silence, and how to hold your ground even when it feels overwhelming. So stay with me, because this isn't just about getting their attention, it's about rediscovering your own power. Remember this, you are the prize, not the pursuer. Write that in the comments and let it sink in. You're not here to beg for attention or prove your worth. Your presence is a gift, not a given. You've rewritten the rules, and now they're the ones struggling to keep up. Of course, pulling the rug out from under them isn't always easy, especially if you've invested significant time in the relationship or connection. You might feel a sense of guilt stepping back so suddenly, tempted to explain things to soften the blow. But don't fall into that trap. The point of this step is to leave them without the answers. It's that discomfort that forces them to grow. If you cave and try to make things easier, you're giving the power right back to them. What if it feels overwhelming? What if you're worried they'll be angry or worse, move on completely? Here's the reality. If they can't handle a bit of emotional distance, then they were never as invested as you thought. And if they do get upset, that's actually a good sign. It means they care. You don't want someone who sticks around just because they think you'll always be there. You want someone who feels the fear of losing you and steps up to keep you. Think of it as pulling the plug on a machine that's been running on autopilot. The moment it stops, they'll realize how much they've depended on it. Your attention and care weren't just nice extras. They were the glue holding everything together. Now, without that glue, everything feels like it's falling apart. They'll scramble to figure out what's broken and how to fix it, but the solution won't come easily because you've changed the game. This step isn't about punishing them, it's about reclaiming yourself. You're saying, I won't be your backup plan, your emotional crutch, or the one who always makes things easy for you. You're teaching them that they need to work for your presence because if they don't, they'll lose it. This is how emotional distance shifts the dynamic. When they realize you're not afraid to walk away, they'll stop taking you for granted. Stay with me, because this is just step 2. Pulling the rug out is only one part of creating emotional distance that leaves a lasting impact. One step won't change everything. It's the combination of each step, done consistently, that moves the needle. If you think you're done after this, you're fooling yourself. The real transformation happens when you stay committed to the process, when you keep showing yourself time and again that you are worth chasing. Here's my challenge to you: make the move. Step back without warning and let them feel what it's like to lose the comfort they've been relying on. Every time you feel the urge to reach out, resist it. Tell yourself this silence is not only for them but also for you. This is how you reclaim your power. We're just getting started. Drop this line in the comments if you're ready. I am ready to pull the rug out and reclaim my power. This journey is about becoming someone worth chasing, not someone who chases. Stick with me, because the next steps will build on everything we've done so far and push it even further. Step 3. Make them chase what they can't catch. When you pull back and create emotional distance, you become the one they can't catch, and that's exactly where you need to be. Human nature works in funny ways. People crave what they can't have and often take for granted what's readily available. The moment you step away, something shifts in their mind. You stop being predictable and familiar, and instead, you become a challenge, a mystery. And everyone, whether they admit it or not, wants to solve a mystery. When you're always available, texting first, offering your attention without hesitation, you're like a toy they think will always be there. There's no urgency, no sense of value because they assume they can always pick you up when they want. But the second you cut off that stream of attention, they're left wondering what happened. They'll start asking themselves, why aren't they chasing me? What's changed? Are they with someone else? Suddenly, what they didn't notice before becomes impossible to ignore. This isn't about playing games. It's about rebalancing the dynamic. You've spent too long running after them, trying to show them how much you care. But here's the hard truth. The more you chase, the faster they run. Emotional distance flips that script. Now they're the ones trying to grab your attention. Every time they reach for you and find nothing, it only fuels their need to close the gap. And here's where the power lies. The harder they chase, the more valuable you become. Imagine you've always been the one initiating contact, planning the dates, sending the goodnight texts, checking in throughout the day. They've grown used to it, so used to it that they don't even notice anymore. But now, you've pulled back. No more texts, no more plans, no more updates. At first, they might shrug it off, thinking you'll come around again. But as days stretch on, their confidence will crack. That little voice inside their head will get louder. Why are they so quiet? Are they with someone else? Curiosity alone will start to eat away at them. This isn't manipulation, it's clarity. You're showing them you're not someone who waits around for scraps of attention. You're someone worth working for, and if they want to be part of your life, they have to make the effort. Emotional distance isn't about revenge, it's about self-respect. It's about giving yourself the space to breathe, while making them realize they don't have you as securely as they thought. The beauty of making them chase.